iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.
I've been working on the album for a couple years now, and I wrote a lot of it in Nashville and in Savannah, and I think I was very inspired by this kind of Americana folk sound of people like James Taylor and Simon and Garfunkel and Fleetwood Mac, and I even listened to a lot of Beach Boys while I was writing the album. I think just something that is really songwriting forward and storytelling forward, and just lets the vocal be the vehicle for the story and the melody, I think was exciting to me. And then kind of crossing that style and that very classic American feeling with super queer perspective and very expressly queer perspective. I think stylistically it's a combo I haven't really seen much, and I got really excited at the idea of kind of creating something that cross section. And now we have Honeymind. I feel really crazy to be playing the Palace. It's an unbelievably privileged list to be on, and it's some of the greatest performers of all time have had their solo shows there, and so to perform as myself on Broadway at all feels like quite an honor, but especially at the Palace feels like a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and so I'm hoping to meet that moment with everything I've got. I hope that fans will come and enjoy getting like a bit more of an intimate, transparent kind of face-to-face experience for me on a Broadway stage, where I don't have to be adhering to a character or a larger story, and I can just kind of share my perspective and my stories as honestly as I can. And certainly we'll be singing a lot from the new record, Honeymind, and especially for those first few shows, it'll be essentially the first time anyone will hear it, because the album won't even be out yet, so that's exciting. But I also will definitely be peppering in some of my other songs that hopefully fans like from the other records, and some nice Broadway moments, maybe some crossover moments between kind of an Americana style and a Broadway classic, things like that. So hopefully something for everyone, and some fun guests as well along the way. I think thematically, the two most inspirational things to me on the record were my partner Noah and our relationship, and just kind of settling into finding your person and how that changes you and how you change each other, and what it does to your perspective on everything else when you have that kind of a love. So there's a lot of love songs and sappy love songs, so get ready for those. And I also wrote a lot about this kind of crossroads I feel like I'm at in my life, this sort of Saturn returning energy of like not feeling quite fully formed, rigidly, jadedly adult, but also feeling far from my youthful kind of reckless self, and trying to maintain the best parts of being young and keep hopeful and keep the wonder going, but also just embrace the responsibility and the maturity of being older, and just that mix. I think it's a super vulnerable thing to get on stage as yourself anywhere, let alone on Broadway at the Palace. So I certainly have some fear and trepidation mixed in with my huge excitement. And so I think I definitely wanted to have a collaborator and director who was going to help me shape the evening, who I felt I could be totally myself with, and I felt comfortable with, and who I trusted implicitly. And Michael, I've collaborated with for many years, and I just think he's the real deal, and really understands the queer perspective, and understands theatrical performance, and just really I think is a great addition to this creative team, and I think is going to help me make it the best it can be. The most exciting thing, among many exciting things to me about this residency, is the idea of kind of bridging that gap of getting to do something in my favorite community that I feel really lucky to be part of, that I value my place in more than any other community, which is the theater community and Broadway, and bringing in this other world that I have grown to really love, that's brought me so much of songwriters and Nashville and making my own records and getting to express my perspective, and to get to bring those two feelings and communities together in a way that feels really specific to me is my ultimate goal, and I hope that it will kind of create a nice bridge we haven't felt necessarily before, and that's the part that makes me really excited.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.